Hello, America. Let's talk about something that impacts us all, the economy. It's the backbone of our daily lives, influencing everything from the price of our morning coffee to the cost of our homes. Specifically, the rising costs that have been squeezing our wallets for the past 4 years. It's not just a number on a chart, it's a reality we face every day. Inflation has been a real pain, making everything from groceries to gas more expensive. The price tags at the grocery store seem to climb higher each week, and filling up the gas tank feels like a luxury. It's like a never-ending game of whack-a-mole, but instead of moles, it's our bank accounts taking the hits. Every time we think we've got a handle on our finances, another expense pops up. We've seen wages stagnate while the cost of living keeps climbing, leaving many Americans struggling to make ends meet. It's a tough balancing act, and for many, it's becoming increasingly difficult to stay afloat. Remember when a gallon of milk was like a reasonable price? It wasn't that long ago, but it feels like a different era. Those days feel like a distant memory. The shelves that once held affordable essentials now seem to mock us with their high prices. This economic pressure has created real hardship for families across the country, forcing them to make tough choices between essentials like food, housing, and health care. It's a heartbreaking reality that many are facing. The American dream is starting to feel more like a fever dream, where affordability is a distant myth. The promise of prosperity seems to be slipping through our fingers. So what's being done about it? Our leaders are aware of the struggles, but the solutions are complex and often slow to materialize. Well, we're about to dive into the world of executive orders and economic policy. It's a tangled web of decisions and actions that aim to steer us back on course, but the journey is far from straightforward. Enter stage right, Donald Trump, wielding his trusty executive order pen. Faced with mounting pressure from the American people, Trump has signed a series of executive orders aimed at tackling rising costs and providing some economic relief. These orders, touted as emergency price relief, represent a bold move to address the financial strain felt by many. But are they the magic bullet we've been waiting for, or just another shot in the dark? The jury's still out on that one, but one thing's for sure. These orders will have a significant impact on the American economy, for better or for worse. Let's break down exactly what these executive orders entail and how they aim to make life a little easier for the average American. Trump's emergency price relief plan is a multi-pronged approach designed to tackle the rising costs that are burdening American families. It targets key areas that directly impact household budgets, aiming to provide immediate and long-term relief. One of the main focuses is on energy prices, particularly gasoline. With fuel costs being a significant part of daily expenses for many, this is a critical area of concern. The orders call for increased domestic oil production and aim to ease regulations on the energy sector, which could potentially lead to a more stable and lower price at the pump. Theoretically, this should result in lower prices at the pump, making it more affordable for families to travel and commute. Another significant area of focus is housing costs. With rent and mortgage payments taking up a large portion of household income, addressing this issue is crucial. The orders include provisions to streamline the permitting process for new housing construction, which is expected to speed up the development of new homes. By increasing the housing supply, the plan aims to bring down rent and mortgage payments, making housing more affordable for everyone. Additionally, the plan targets prescription drug prices, which have been a growing concern for many Americans. By fostering increased competition and negotiations, the goal is to lower costs for consumers, making essential medications more accessible. The hope is that these measures will provide some much-needed breathing room for families struggling to keep up with the rising cost of living. But will it be enough? Only time will tell if these initiatives can truly alleviate the financial pressures faced by so many. So, when can we expect to see some relief? Well, according to the Trump administration, the impact of these executive orders should be felt sooner rather than later. Within the next 1 to 3 months, they project that Americans will start to see a difference in their wallets. Gas prices are expected to decrease, albeit modestly, as domestic oil production ramps up. Prescription drug prices for certain medications are also anticipated to drop as new policies take effect. However, it's important to note that these are just projections and the actual impact may vary. Tax cuts and tariffs, tools for economic intervention. In this section, we will explore how these tools are used to shape economic policy and their impact on the everyday lives of Americans. Trump's emergency price relief plan doesn't stop at executive orders. It encompasses a broader strategy aimed at stimulating the economy through various means. It also includes proposals for tax cuts and tariff adjustments, both of which are powerful tools for influencing the economy. These measures are designed to create a more favorable economic environment for businesses and consumers alike. Tax cuts, a cornerstone of Trump's economic philosophy, are being touted as a way to put more money back in the pockets of American families. By reducing the amount of taxes people have to pay, the administration hopes to increase disposable income. By reducing the tax burden, the theory goes, people will have more disposable income to spend, stimulating economic growth. This increased spending can lead to higher demand for goods and services, which in turn can create more jobs and boost the economy. Tariffs, on the other hand, are a more controversial tool. They are taxes imposed on imported goods, intended to make foreign products more expensive and less attractive to consumers. Trump has repeatedly used tariffs as a way to pressure other countries on trade deals, but these tariffs can also lead to higher prices for consumers. This can be particularly challenging for families on tight budgets, as the cost of everyday items can increase. The administration argues that these tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs and industries, but critics argue that they ultimately hurt American consumers. They claim that the increased costs of imported goods can outweigh the benefits of protecting domestic industries, leading to a net negative impact on the economy. The Great Debate: Expert Opinions and Criticisms. As with any major policy shift, Trump's emergency price relief plan has sparked a heated debate among economists, policymakers, and the American public. Supporters of the plan argue that it's a necessary step to combat rising costs and stimulate economic growth. They point to the potential for lower gas prices, reduced prescription drug costs, and increased economic activity as evidence of the plan's potential benefits. Critics, however, are more skeptical. They argue that the plan is unlikely to have a significant impact on prices and may even exacerbate existing economic inequalities. Some experts warn that the focus on deregulation could have unintended consequences, potentially harming the environment or consumer protections. Beyond the surface unintended consequences and long-term effects. While the immediate impact of Trump's emergency price relief plan remains to be seen, it's crucial to consider the potential long-term effects. One concern is that the plan's focus on short-term relief could come at the expense of long-term economic stability. For example, increased domestic oil production might lead to lower gas prices in the short term, but it could also have negative environmental consequences down the line. Similarly, while tax cuts might provide a temporary boost to the economy, they could also lead to higher budget deficits in the long run. Navigating uncertainty. What lies ahead for American consumers? So, what does all this mean for the average American? The truth is, it's still too early to say for sure. The economic landscape is complex and constantly evolving, and predicting the future is a fool's errand. However, one thing is clear. The coming months will be crucial in determining the success or failure of Trump's emergency price relief plan. As consumers, we must stay informed about the potential impacts of these policies and hold our elected officials accountable for their decisions. The economy is not a spectator sport. We all have a role to play in shaping its future. The success of Trump's emergency price relief plan will depend on a multitude of factors, many of which are beyond anyone's control. Only time will tell whether these measures will deliver on their promise of economic relief or fall short of expectations. Until then, we can only hope for the best, prepare for the worst, and continue to demand that our leaders prioritize the economic well-being of all Americans. And of course, keep an eye on those gas prices.